What's good, Wizards fans? The Washington Wizards come back from down 20 points to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minnesota. Bradley Beal steps up in the clutch with 35 points. The solid three looked like a big three in the clutch. Let's get to it. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So I thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. Washington Wizards with a huge win before the All-Star break, 2-game winning streak. The Wizards were getting blown out basically in that first half. The first quarter, Anthony Edwards hit 3 threes. Got double figures in the first quarter. Rudy Gobert had his way in the first half. Huge comeback for the Washington Wizards. Brandon, what was your takeaways? What was your main takeaways from the game, and how did you see the Wizards come back to victory in this game?
Man, wow. Tale of two different halves, man. That first half, we were getting handed it to us, man. Rudy Gobert was doing his thing. Anthony Edwards was doing his thing, but they made adjustments, man. They made adjustments within the players, and coaching made adjustments, man. That final lineup, I like DeLon, Kispert, Beal. What was it?
I think it was of course a solid three.
Yeah,
DeLon was definitely in there. I think
DeLon
was in
and
there
Kispert
too because he got a steal.
Kispert
might have been there too.
Yeah, that final lineup, man, was smoking. I mean, it was a defensive 3-point shooting lineup. This is what I want to see from Wes Unseld. This is that adjustments I'm talking about. That final lineup, and I was thinking when I was looking at it, man, this is the adjustments you need. Great team victory, man. Bradley Beal, what can I say? He showed out. He kept us in the game. He won this game. 35 points, 14 for 28. He was shot 50%, 4 from 8 from 3. Efficient, team leader, was showing passion, got a bogus tee. I mean, I love what I see. There's an all-star performance, man. This is what I'm talking about from Bradley Beal. The real deal Bill showed up tonight, man. Easy. Kuz started 1 from 10. He struggled a little bit, but what can you say from that clutch 3 in the fourth quarter? I ain't mad at you, man. I mean, KP, underwhelming as far as scoring, 14 points, but the steals and the blocks, he made up for it with the defense, man. Looking at the bench, DeLon. We're going to talk about the defensive player belt in a little bit, but wow, DeLon, right? His defensive presence on the court is very underrated, man. Very important piece of this team, man. I mean, he was all over the place. Kendrick Dunn was a little cold tonight, 3 points, but Kispert shows up. High basketball IQ, 15 points, 4 for 6 from 3, the shooter. We know what he can't do with his defense, but what he can do is shoot the ball, and he did that at a high volume tonight. And Denny, 10 points, 8 rebounds, but Denny, again, was there with the defense. Now, I will say this about Denny, man. A few things I did not like tonight about Denny. Needs to work on his emotions, man. There's one thing to argue calls, but when you're not rushing back on defense, it becomes a detriment to the team. I get it, man. That foul was easy foul on Denny, man. But when you sit down at the bottom end of the other end of the court, man, and you're complaining you're not getting back on defense, now you're starting to affect the team. It was in that 3-point foul he had at the 5:03 mark in the fourth quarter. Come on, man. Discipline on defensive end, man. That's one of the things they teach us, man. Every level of basketball, do not foul a shooter. And so those are 2 things I did not like about Denny. But overall, his defensive prowess is still showing. So good team victory, man. This is what you want to see. When you want to get that title of victory, when you want to really make this a team that challenges in the playoffs, these are the type of wins you need to have, man. To come back from behind, to keep your composure the way you did. Wow, my hat's off to this team, man. Very impressed tonight.
Yeah, just a huge win. Wes Unseld Jr. did make adjustments in the second half. They went zone. They got stops. They got timely steals. Then he had a huge steal in the clutch. But Bradley Beal, man, he stepped up tonight. And, say what you want to say about the contract, but he stepped up in the clutch. And we've talked about how bad the turnovers he's had in the clutch, bad shots, not showing up in the clutch, missing game winners, dribbling the ball off his feet. But he dominated in the last 2 minutes of the game, the last 3 minutes of the game. Hit some big shots, some big threes. He got some one-on-ones against Gobert. Whenever was matched up with Gobert, he took advantage of that matchup. Gobert just didn't want to step out there. They took advantage of that. Pick and roll with him and Porzingis. And he stepped up like a leader. He had a tech which was questionable. I didn't think it was a tech. He just bounced the ball in the air. They called a tech on that. Then they called a tech on Denny. Denny did have a bad foul on Kyle Anderson. So like you said, Denny does have to work on his emotions and composure in the clutch. But and Kuz, like you said, Kuz he had a rough shooting night because he had a big game the night before against Portland. Started off struggling tonight, but when we needed him in the clutch, he certainly stepped up, man. And that's where the solid three, because Heartbreak 202 on Twitter, he asked us, what would make the solid three a big three? And games like this turns the solid three into a big thing. When they step up in the clutch, they don't fold away from pressure. They step up and hit big shots. That's when you become a big three and you win games like this on the road against a good Minnesota Timberwolves team that's over 500 now in the playoff hunt in the Western Conference. DeLon Wright, man, he's an unsung hero, like you said as well. 10 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, just a stat sheet stuffer and a plus 25 coming off the bench, 3 steals as well, 1 block. He's just a jack of all trades, man. He really is. He does all the dirty work, dives on the floor, gets timely steals. I mean, he was a heck of a pickup this all season for sure. I think he was a steal of a free agent signing for the Wizards for sure. And the bench stepped up, man. 15 points from Corey, 10 points from Denny, 10 points from DeLon. So that's 38 points off the bench. And Corey responded. He stepped up tonight. He responded very well because he's been in a shooting slump. They needed some big shots from him. He had a couple threes from the corner tonight. 15 points, plus 9 in the plus minus box. So Corey Kispert stepped up. He was huge tonight. So just an all-around win. West didn't play many guys tonight. He only played 9 guys, but they really stepped up to be down by 20 points. And they were basically getting dominated. They weren't getting back on defense. Kyle Anderson was getting easy baskets. Anthony Edwards was getting easy baskets. Rudy Gobert had easy double-double against the Wizards. So huge, big night for Bradley Beal, man. Just I have nothing bad to say about Brad, man. He stepped up and played the way a leader's supposed to play and the way a guy who is, who's getting paid what he's getting paid. That's what we expect him to do, and he's starting to get in stride. You can see that he's finally really healthy.
Oh, he's definitely healthy. He is definitely healthy, man, because it just shows his jump shot. Like I said, he worked on his mechanics a little bit because that trajectory on his shot, the high trajectory, man, he's back to shooting the way he used to shoot. I mean, like I said, took 28 shots, but he shot 50%. I mean, he was so efficient tonight, and just like you said, from a leadership standpoint, he's starting to show that leader. He's starting to show that franchise guy, and that's what you want to see. This performance highlighted best case scenario with the team. Outside, I mean, I know Kuz and KP kind of struggle, but when I mean best case scenarios, that Fluent as a team, they made up for that slack. With the 2 out of the 3 of the solid 3 struggling, you saw DeLon pick up the pace. You saw Kispert pick up the pace, and that's what you want to see. That's playoff basketball, man. When people struggle, people pick up the slack, and that's what you want to see for a team that wants to be a playoff team. So, and against the Timberwolves, I know they were without Cat, but still, Gobert was doing his thing, but I can't take it away from the team. They played well against a team who, the T-Wolves are looking for a playoff spot too. So, they're not a bunch of scrubs. There's not a lottery team. This is a really good team in a real tough Western Conference. So, my hats go off to this team, man. I got nothing negative to say. I critiqued just a little bit about Denny, man, but everybody, this team from head coach to players did their thing tonight. Hats off to him, dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta give props for West going to the zone and Denny, even though he had some up and down moments down the stretch, he had a huge steal. He had a timely steal at the end of the game. Gaffer had he had 2 blocks. He had a couple big blocks. Porzingis had a couple big blocks. He had 2 blocks on the game as well. So just a good all around effort. And if they're trying to really make this playoff push, then they're this is the game that they really needed this game, because looking at the standings right now, they are the 9th seed. They're only a half game behind the Atlanta Hawks for the 8th spot. The Wizards are 28-30. If they would have played that Pistons game, I really feel like they would be 29-30 right now. So if they would have played that Pistons game, they would have been tied with the Hawks. They do play the Pistons later on March 7th, but right now they're creeping their way in to that 8th spot. But we're going to talk about defensive player of the game and player of the game, and then we'll talk about the reports from Woj talking about Russell Westbrook, because I know a lot of people want to talk about that too. We'll get the comments. But before we do get to that, today's episode is brought to you by Nissan. Nissan's most electric player of the week is brought to you by the all-new, all-electric 2023 Nissan Ariya. Bradley Beal, he's been playing like the player of the week. Also, Kyle Kuzma, he's been playing like the player of the week for the Wizards. You can throw Porzingis in a couple of games, but tonight's performance definitely is Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's recent performance tonight, a 35 points, just being clutch, stepping up clutch. Bradley Beal, he was electric tonight. Brilliantly fierce, fiercely elegant, stunningly powerful, elegantly powerful. And he delivered in the clutch tonight. He really did. After that tech, he woke up, was getting to the basket, getting downhill, hit some big threes. The 2023 Nissan Aria packs pin to your seat, power, and premium intelligence all in one EV. The all-new, all-electric 2023 Nissan Aria, the EV for people who love to drive. Shop now at nissanusa.com. All right, so who was your defensive player of the game and defensive belt? Who won the defensive belt for you?
Oh, easy. DeLon Wright. Easy. I mean, he was all over the place, man. He caused those timely turnovers that really ebb the game in our favor, man. I mean, he was just all over. He is the defensive leader of this team. So easy, DeLon Wright. And player of the game, the real deal Bradley Beal, franchise guy. He showed out tonight. He led the charge, played general, and then look, good win.
100%. I'm with you on DeLon. Now, I think the rules for the defensive player of the belt is whoever wins the belt, they have to give it to somebody else who didn't get it last game. So it's a tough one, man. Denny had a huge steal. Gav had some big blocks. Porzingis had some big blocks down the stretch too. But I think it's a tough one. It's a tough one. If it's not DeLon, I don't know who it is, but it definitely should be DeLon. But I know the rules; he has to give it to somebody else. Player of the game for me, it definitely is Bradley Beal. 35 points, just stepping up in the clutch like that. 35 points, 4 for 8 from the 3-point line, 14 for 28 from the field. He literally took the game over. 5 assists, and 6 boards as well. He looked like the guy from 2020 who was scoring at will, and he looks healthy and he's shooting the ball better. You look at his numbers; he's having some of his best shooting numbers. I think he's shooting 36% from the 3-point line, which we haven't seen him shoot that well from the three. I want to say since like 2017, 2018. He's shooting well from the free throw line, so he's having a really, really good bounce back season. Shooting the ball for sure. Just looking at the team stats as well. The Wizards have been shooting really well from the 3-point line, 40% from the 3, 14 for 35. Corey Kispert was a big part of that. He hit 5 threes. Brad hit 4. Kuzma hit 4. So they were a big part of knocking it down from the 3-point line. They shot 45% from the field. They held the Timberwolves to 27% from the 3-point line. The only bad is that they did. I'm not going to say the only bad, but they did give Kyle Anderson a lot of open shots. Kyle Anderson was missing a lot of bunnies, too. He missed a couple wide open layups in the middle of that zone, too. They did get out-rebounded 53-49, but they had 25 assists. DeLon Wright had a couple of leak outs, too, for some easy dunks and easy baskets. They did overturn 1-and-1 towards the end of the game. They had 16 turnovers. The Timberwolves had 18 turnovers. The Wizards had 13 steals. DeLon Wright had a couple steals, and we talked about yesterday in the preview. The Timberwolves they're 28th in turnover, so they turn the ball over a lot, and they're one of the worst 3-point defensive teams, and the Wizards exposed that for sure. So the Wizards, they were able to move the ball, and they were able to knock down some threes tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, it was a tale of 2 different halves, man. So no, overall, this was a beautiful team victory, man. But before we move on to Russ, man, you got anything else from the game, man?
Yeah, like you said, tale of 2 halves. I mean, that first quarter was terrible. They were down 30-10 at one point. I thought they were going to get blown out. I mean, I knew they were going to come back. I thought they were going to do one of their Wizards comebacks where they cut it to like 5 with like 2 minutes to go, and then they give up an offensive rebound or find a way to just choke the game. But no, they had perseverance. They kept stepping up. And with the 2 technicals, Anthony Edwards missed that 1 tech, so that helped us out. And after the techs, we kept getting the ball back too. So they really persevered. There was a lot of ups and downs in the game, but they really stepped up. And this wasn't one of Porzingis' best games. This wasn't one of Kyle Kuzma's best games. So like we've always said, it may not be one of their nights. Sometimes it's Brad's night. Sometimes it's Kuz's night. Sometimes it's Porzingis' night. But Brad, it was Brad's night tonight. He stepped up and took over at the end. And the bench was huge tonight.
Yes, sir. Everybody eats. That's the recipe. So before we move on to rumors about Russ, tonight's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Looking for a delicious treat, but don't want all of the fat and calories? Then you got to try a Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I know my goal is to eat a little healthier this year. If you're like me, you want to eat healthier, but don't want to compromise taste, then I got just the thing for you. You got to try a Built Bar. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, so delicious, you won't think it's good for you. It's perfect for your New Year's resolution. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. I'm not sure how Bill does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. What's even better is that they're healthy, over 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 14 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built bars at Built.com. Now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. If you're close to Sam's Club, run in, grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavors brownie, batter, and churro. You'll thank me later. Built Bar. So we're going to slide right into news about Russ Westbrook. Now, there was reports that he was talking to the Clippers. He did talk to us, and I believe it was with Miami, and there was a fourth team. You know what the fourth team was?
I can look it up. I know Woj tweeted it. Yeah, I know it's us, the Clippers.
And I believe there's an issue with Miami.
Because the Miami Heat. Yeah, the Miami Heat.
There you go. So looking at that, could you see a potential reunion in DC with Russ Westbrook? And if you did, how do you see him fitting into this lineup?
I think he would probably have to come off the bench. I think he did that really well with the Lakers. It's not a knock to him. I mean, he could start. He could start, but I just personally I wouldn't bring him back. I think he's still a really good player. I think he's a good player. I know a lot of people don't like his style of play. Some of the shot selection, and he's always playing at 100 miles an hour. But he showed that he's still a productive player with the Lakers. He did a good job when he came off the bench. Him and Anthony Davis had good chemistry. Him and LeBron, they had solid chemistry, facilitating the ball to the bigs. Him and Thomas Bryant as well. So I mean, he made Gafford better. He motored his game. The only thing is the ball dominance, and they like to move the ball now. So I could see where it's different now. But I mean, he would get into the paint, and that's the thing that we've talked about with Monte and DeLon. They don't really get into the paint. They don't get downhill. They don't get a lot of open shots for guys, and that's something that Russell Westbrook can do. So he's going to get bought out. So he's going to be on a cheaper contract. But right now, we do have a lot of guards. Kendrick Nunn. And I do think Russ can help. I really do, but I personally wouldn't go after Russ right now. I'll probably just keep the team the way it is right now. And he's a polarizing player. But if Tommy does bring him in, and he kind of left on weird terms, what Ted said about him and Alex Ovechkin talking about players leaving. And I forgot what the quote that Ted said, but it was something about guys being loyal in the NHL more than in the NBA and team hopping. Then there was the reports where Russ told Bradley Beal to request a trade. I don't know how true or not that was. That came out from the Athletic. So I know he didn't leave on bad terms, like kind of like how John Wall did. But just looking from a basketball perspective, and he would have to step it on the defensive side of the ball. There are some times where he gets lost in the sauce, letting guys backdoor him and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it would be intriguing to see him with KP though. The pick and roll, pick apart with KP. Pick and roll with Gafford, made Gafford better. But there are some times where, guys are kind of just trapped in a corner because Russ he's a ball dominant guy. And Brad did play. Brad had his best season next to Russell Westbrook. His best scoring season, his all NBA season was next to Russell Westbrook. So there's certainly some pros and cons to Russ. I know there's going to be some polarizing comments in the live chat as well. But yeah, we'll see. I think he's going to go to the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence, man, because he's a guard who can drive the paint, but he's not the best 3-point shooter, obviously. And defense, sometimes he's a detriment to the team. But he is kind of what we need, a guard who can pick up the pace, who can drive the lane, who can draw fouls. But like you said, I think the biggest factor would keep me from trying to obtain him would be he holds onto the ball so much. And that's an issue that we had early on, and we've really developed into a ball movement team basketball team. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it'll affect chemistry. So yeah, it's intriguing, man. It's intriguing to see Russ, Bill. I mean, but it would just be looking good on paper, man, because he's so ball dominant, and we would be worse defensively, and I just don't see why would we do that. But I think that the biggest issue I have with this is the fact that they even entertained it, and it's not on Russ. It kind of irks me when it comes to John Wall. John Wall he played here 10 years, right? Now he left under some shady. I'm not going to say shady, but all right, the gang signs, I get that. You're trying to improve culture, I get that. Okay, but to push him out the way you did, and and like you said, Russ went out and he went for a trade. He was telling Brad to get out of here. Why are you going to entertain one and not the other, man? Like, for real. Like, what's this problem that this organization has with John Wall, man? I don't understand it, man. Like, gang signs alone is not going to entitle you to just go ahead and just totally forget a guy who dedicated 10 years of his career here in D.C. I just don't get that, man. You give Russ a look and you don't even entertain John Wall. I mean, I don't buy it. I mean, like you said, Russ left with issues too. So I don't, but John Wall never told Bill to go somewhere else. It's just I don't understand it, man. I just don't get it, man. Entertain one and not the other. It just I don't get it. It goes back to all the things, all the issues you had with this whole John Wall thing, this whole season, especially with him coming back. The lack of him really getting a tribute. I mean, look, we both know was it really? What do you have to do to get a tribute? Nothing. Really, just come here and play 15 games, you get a tribute. But just the way they treated this dude, man, it's just that's what irks me about this whole situation with Russ, man. It's like John Wall can help that too. Why are we so hesitant with that reunion, man? It's just that's just me, man. That's my little piece. But yeah, I mean, Russ, like you said, he is so ball dominant, it wouldn't work. But so yeah, I don't see it happening, man. He's going to go to the Clippers and do his thing, so and try to chase that ring.
Definitely. I'm so happy we didn't trade Brad, or Brad would have to lift his no trade clause. But I remember a lot of people were saying, "Oh, let's trade Brad to the Lakers for Russ in the 2027, 2029." I know in the beginning of the season you weren't against that at all, but I'm so happy we didn't do that because you see now Russ is going to get bought out for nothing. So the Wizards would have got no value for Russ if they would have traded for Brad, if they would have traded for Russ. But yeah, the whole John Wall thing. Yeah, I mean, you listen to the interview that he did on the Theo Pinson podcast. He talked about the way it ended with Tommy Shepard and Ted Leonsis. So there's definitely didn't end on good terms. And then, like you said, the NBC Sports Washington broadcast, they didn't mention John Wall much from what I heard. We were both at the game, so I didn't get to watch the broadcast. But from what people said, they didn't really mention John Wall at all. So we'll see where John Wall ends up too. I don't know where he's going to end up, but I do think there's a connection with Paul George and Russ. They play together with the Thunder, so I think that's where he's going to ultimately end up. But it is intriguing that they have had conversations. There's something, like you said earlier, there's something going on with the Miami Heat where I got to see the report too, but something didn't go well with Miami Heat in the talks with Russell Westbrook. So there's some interesting things going on. But personally, it's a tough one. I'd probably just stay with the chemistry the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, we are who we are. I think you got to stay with what you have because we've made leaps and bounds with the chemistry. So,
right.
So, yeah. So, we can go ahead and get in the comments. Start it out. Definitely appreciate everybody tonight. Fabulous results. Bradley Beal is him. Absolutely. Tonight he is. I mean, he was rocking the night. The shot was just fluid tonight. Like I said, this is the performance you want to see from Bradley Beal, man. With that money, whether you hate it or love it, he's got it. And this is what you want to see. Him picking up the slack and really carrying us to this win. This is on him and this is on West with that final lineup, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he stepped up tonight. This is the Brad that we've been waiting for to see, and he's doing it consistently. He's taking over games. He took over this game tonight. We've seen him do it before, but I feel like I've just seen him, drill the ball off his feet. So I was happy to see him take over a game tonight and dominate because we needed his hot hand because Kuz was off, Porzingis was off. We needed our $250 million guy to step up.
Absolutely. Let's see this. Dean Pomeroy, man, what's going on? Bill with an all-star performance. Oh my God, absolutely perfect findings. Team play at the fourth. Denny still made up for the 3rd point foul. But my problem is still with West benching Denny after a miss or two. How can you build confidence this way? It looks well. I kind of see what you're coming from, but you got to roll with the hot hand, man. I mean, I get building confidence, but man, when you're trying to come from behind and get that dub, you roll with the hot hand.
Yeah, Denny was huge. There was one point he had an and one fast break. Then he had a fast break dunk. Then he had an and one. The bench was huge because it was DeLon and Denny and Gaffer. Gaffer had a couple of dunks where they brought us back. They cut it down to 9 or 8. And then the starters came back in and Brad had some big shots. So Denny had a really good third. The end of the third quarter is where he went on that run and went on that stretch. He just has to be more level-headed. The tech was bad. The foul on Kyle Anderson was bad. But he had 10 points and 9 boards, and the steal at the end was really clutch. But Bradley Beal, yeah, he looks like he's 110% right now, 110% healthy. And it feels good to be on the other side of a 20-point comeback instead of being the team that's up 20 points and gives the lead away.
Yeah, Bradley Beal said, "I'm back." Let's see. There's another one from Perfect Finance. I had us losing as well, Ed, but happy that Blonde Brandon got it right. Hey, looks like I'm Don and Blonde, man. They look good. I'm just saying.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm happy that I did the reverse jinx. That's why I'm happy I didn't agree with you and say that we won, because I'm always wrong. I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm usually wrong.
All right, let's see. Benz. Didn't think they were going to pull it off, but Brad said, "Hop on my back, clutch performance." Again, man. And I'm pretty sure most of the comments going to be about this, man. Bradley Beal carried his team. This is what you want to see from him. So absolutely, man.
Yeah, he did. He stepped up. Joseph Cobb, he says everyone on this podcast and in the audience is trash. Wes and Tommy, we need to take into consideration how long our main players have had time to gel, and that's the thing about Russ too. You know, it's about chemistry. And I said I slept on it about the trade deadline. Of course, I was upset we didn't trade for anybody. We didn't make any moves. We didn't bring in another scorer off the bench. I was upset, but I was like, you know what? Tommy probably didn't want to spend. You look at what guys were giving up. You know, Gary Payton for 5 second-round picks, Jay Crowder for 5 second-round picks, the Josh Richardson trade. So he probably looked at that and was like, we're not going to give up that much for mid-tier guys to come off the bench. And I was like, it just made sense. You know, chemistry, getting guys back healthy. So I do give Tommy some credit. I know Tommy, when he talks in interviews, you know, he'll say things that a lot of people don't agree with, and I don't agree with either. But, you know, we haven't seen the solid three be healthy, and they're starting to get healthy and get their legs under them. DeLon Wright has been healthy, knock on wood. Gafford's finally been healthy as well. So when they're a healthy squad, I think they are an 8th seed or 7th seed when they're healthy, and they're playing that way right now. So Tommy, I think he's got a good roster. He's got a solid roster. This is the talent. The roster is a talented roster. Is it a top tier roster? No, but when the solid three steps up, I think they can definitely make some noise in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree a little bit about that. Yeah, they have gotten a lot of scrutiny, Wes and Tommy, but are they starting to gel? Yes, but I got to see an end result before I give them a free pass, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. They are gelling, but I mean, I got to see where we're going. You know what I mean? I can't give you kudos 3 quarters into the year. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So, I mean, you know, again, if we get into the playoffs, then yeah, absolutely. You know, absolutely. But if we go in the play-in and we watching the playoffs from the house, then I don't know. So, yeah, I got you. They are starting. I mean, you really do see the chemistry starting to build up, man, and the culture change. I mean, I do believe that. So, yeah, I'm with you. Let's see. Man, most of the comments are the same, man. Bradley Beal doing his thing. Clutch Coos.
Fabulous Results says masterclass from Wes Unseld Jr. night 2, switching to the zone yet again and coming up clutch. Yeah, it was one of his better games. I think Wes being up 20. I guess I'm a little more concerned with him coaching the game being up by 20 than being down by 20. It looks like he coaches a little bit better when he's down by 20, because when we're up by 20, it's usually when we lose. The last year with the Clippers lost, being up by 35. So I don't know what it is about Wes, but he coaches better when they're down. So, but yeah, I give him credit too. We've given him a tough time, and like you said, Brandon, they've earned the scrutiny too. It's not like they've been perfect, for sure, but the last couple weeks, they've definitely, Wes has been better, other than the 2 20-point losses.
Oh yeah. I got a funny comment, man. Daryl Hardy, the slow guy was killing me. My God, Kyle Anderson, man. I mean, before he shoot, it probably takes about 15 seconds for him to shoot basketball. I mean, I don't. Man, he is like, he takes his time. That's for sure.
He does. I gotta see how many points tonight. But yeah, he was killing us in slow motion. He was. He has a very slow shot. He missed a couple easy layups too, man. He let us off the hook.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for that one in the fourth quarter, man. So appreciate you, Kyle Anderson. Let's see. William Lee said, "Hell no" to Russell Westbrook. Oh, that ain't right.
Yeah, Ben says, keep Westbrook far away from here. We're straight.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Daryl Haiti says, bring back Russell Westbrook. Stop hating on Russell. So yes, a lot of people want him. There's a lot of people that don't want him here, and then there's some people that do want him here. So it's people are torn on it for sure. Ben said Westbrook doesn't know the system. He's never played for West too, and that's something too. Because West did get into a confrontation with Darvin Ham on LeBron's scoring night, the scoring where he got the scoring record. They did say that they did have a disagreement in the locker room or something like that. So, we know West is a chill, laid back guy. So, how would he gel with West? But we seen Scott Brooks. Not like Scott Brooks was a rah guy, and Scott Brooks did a good job with Russ. So, I would be intrigued to see how he would mesh with Russ if he has to bench Russ because Russ is taking some bad shots or he's a liability on defense. Then how does West handle that? So it would be interesting.
No, I'm glad you said that, man, because when you look at it, Scott Brooks, he wasn't a rah guy, but he had experience dealing with all-stars and big star guys. If you look at OKC, he had Russ, he had KD, he had Harden at one point. West really hasn't had to deal with a lot of, KP and Bill are all-stars, I get that, but they're not, how I say this, like the next tier got tight. He is, so I'm not you, man. I'm interested to see how he can handle with big personalities. And I don't know if he can handle Russ's personality, man. It's just Russ, the type of guy, man, where he's gonna say what he wants to say. And so yeah, I don't see it happening, man.
Right. Where fans me says I'm a huge Morris fan, but can we please start right and have Monte Morris come with the bench? We'll probably answer that next week because it's gonna be the All-Star break. So we're gonna have a couple days with no games. So we'll probably do a mailbag. So you guys can definitely put some questions in here. And we'll answer them next week.
But we did bring that up before.
Mm-hmm.
Starting DeLon and slide Monte to the bench. Because defensively, right, like I said, tonight, that last lineup was DeLon at point. And I thought they defended well.
Yeah, DeLon, yeah. I like DeLon coming off the bench just because he provides, power off the bench.
Yeah.
Because we just don't have, we don't have a lot of firepower coming off the bench. So I do like him calling. I think he can start too. I really do. I think he would be a good starter for sure.
Absolutely. See. Somebody said, can we get John for a Pokemon card? Oh, man.
Oh, man. But there's a lot of comments here. We'll probably wrap it up. The pod name Kickback, he came in and he said, I'm late. Did we say big three? Bill did what was needed on a night when nobody else really had it going. Yeah, we talked about that before. Yeah, the solid three. I'm still not calling him a big three just yet, but the solid three, Brad stepped up. He stepped up tonight for sure. When the other two guys, they had a rough night, and then Kuz was super clutch at the end with that three.
Absolutely. So before we bounce, man, hats off to the Washington Wizards. Big win tonight going into the All-Star break. So the vision going forward is keep this momentum going and drive for a playoff spot. So definitely appreciate everybody showing up tonight, showing the love, man, chopping it up with us. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. Now make your second listen, Game to Game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA. Available on Odyssey app, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. YouTube, man, we're getting there. We're close to 3K. So definitely like, subscribe, and comment below. Hit your notification button. So when we hit videos out, you will know. Instagram and Twitter, check out me and my dude, the Real Ed Oliver. We chop it up on game days and off days, especially with the off season in the NFL and the playoff push for the NBA. We're going to be chopping up a lot. So again, appreciate everybody, and everybody have a blessed night, and peace. Hail to the Wizards.
Duh.
The duh, baby. Yes, sir. The real deal, Bill.